Okay, so let's get started with the postmortem. What did I do well? What went wrong? What did I improve? What did I overall learn from this module? Okay, so let's start with what went well. I thought I made a very good looking map, at least in terms of the time I had. With the grumbles and stuff and editing the materials, I thought I added it and did it in a way that was extremely nice and good. To not have these plain, boring rules everywhere, it's something that I try to put a lot of time and effort to my own downfall, but it's something I wanted to look good. I wanted it to feel like a spaceship. I wanted there to be tight corners you peek into. I wanted it to feel clustered and a lot of choke points. Because that's how spaceships would be. They're very small things sometimes, and they have to be very compact with everything and all the space they use. It's a very important thing for them to do. In terms of like their real design. And I looked at this in real life and in sci-fi. I looked at this in real life from, for example, NASA documents, which were so hard to get sometimes, and SpaceX documents. So it's like about their design, about what their philosophy was, and I kind of implemented the same thing when I was doing my map design. As you can see from my map design video. And I tried to make sure everywhere felt like at least there was something going on. Something needed to go on in each place to make it feel like a little bit more. So I feel like I implemented a good use of weapons and with their VFXs to make them look good. I like the way the weapons work in this game. And I like that we only have a limited amount of ammo, especially with one or two ammo things refill packs around the map. Basically, you have to be more spare with your ammo. I don't like when you get limited ammo sometimes. I think it's like, well, what's the point of it? You just go around and point and shoot at everything. It doesn't work. Especially considering there's not that many shooting points. Not shooting points, enemies we have on the map that you can do damage to you. Since it's meant to be a worker ship, it's meant to be a little bit more empty. You're meant to go around kind of almost like a speed run. Who can do it faster? This is what the kind of idea was. It's meant to be a nice little speed run area. It's like you're speed running, taking over ships once you've hacked into it. That's kind of like the main idea of it, at least for what my aim for the game was. Like I said, I like all the graphics. I would have made more changes to the UI, but I find the UI a little bit harder to work with. And I spent too much time trying to make a world location system where it would point you to the direction, and that just led to downfall in those of my mechanics. But it's what it is, unfortunately. I like the grenades I made. I like them a lot. I also like the dash ability I made. I very much like that. Now into stuff I did not do so well. Okay, let's be. The end point is hard, and the enemies are really bad. I'm going to be honest here. I found it very difficult to work with the enemies, so I try to do as best as I can to make them work. And I think I got to a point where they can at least do damage to you, walk up to you, interact with you, and these are all things where I was like, okay, this works for a level 1 for a tutorial initialization. It doesn't need to be too hard. It's going to be a nice little ease into all of the levels of the game, and this works perfectly. Where it's like, okay, introducing you to the switches you have to turn off in each different area, introducing you to what are doors, introducing you to what enemies can do, what damage they do, areas around the map, basically setting up all groundwork. So when I move forward, I don't have to explain that much to it. You know what I mean? One thing I wish I used more VFX around the map. Basically, I wish I had more sparks going on, more sounds, more of the little stuff that adds to the whole game experience. Along with changing UI colors, I wish I knew how to change the UI colors. That's something I really regret. I would have changed it to like a purple or a red to show that the enemy is that you've taken over. That it's something wrong with the suit you're in because you've just taken over the enemy like guard they have on the ship. So anyway, let's go from there. So as you're working your way through the ship, you go through. Some of the enemies are a little bit too small, too big for the areas. That's because, again, when I was making the map, it was kind of, we have to make these tight corners. In order for me to have those things go well, I needed to have some downsides as well to it. I also realised midway through, it's like, oh yeah, I don't need this, but I need to cutting out pointless parts of the map, which I think is something I did well. For example, I was going to have a shopping area, got rid of that. It's like, it doesn't make sense for that to be on this ship. It's going to be a work ship. Why would the robot shop? Doesn't make that much sense, does it? Health area as well. I could just create an engineering base of a health area because there's not going to be that much organic life on the ship. Only a few bits, like a few pets. As robots like pets. It's just going to have all of that around this area. That's kind of the stuff I liked. Oh, I think I did wrong. So what did I learn? Okay, I learned a lot of different ways to do meshing. I spent so much time on doing meshing to make sure stuff looked nice. That did lead to a little bit more downfall, but I learned how to do meshing to a higher degree and make stuff feel nice, not to have stuff be bland and sorry, just make it feel like a lived-in environment. Tilting a chair 15 degrees to make it seem like somebody sat in and swerved it. So it's not every chair, sorry, it's that straightforward, is it? It's always going to be a little bit tilted, a little bit to the side, it's always going to be a little bit off. Same with the flowers, they're not always going to be in the exact same arrangement, are they? They're going to be a little bit different. Same with the locations and when the AI are. You can't just have them go down in a straight line. You need to have that little more variation because they're going to be in different situations when you go to attack them. They're all not just going to be sat there in a line. At least that's what I think. From including elevators from different heights, something I want to do is have a lot of elevation because kind of like, hey, there's going to be ducks underneath or above you, so you have to sometimes go through different elevations, different pathings, because they had to squeeze everything onto the ship as they physically could to make it work. That's something I wanted to include heavily. And in the background, you can see there's the gameplay trailer and the cinematic, and I'm going to go into the cinematic. I really liked the way the cinematic ended up with the explosions I did, the way I made it look to try to sell the game with, especially with the music I did too. I did mute the music in this one, but I will go back and I'll add it for like the last 2 minutes. I'll add the trailer at the end, along with its own separate YouTube video in the playlist. At least that's my view on it. At least that's what I've learned from like stuff I did well. Stuff I did negatively is like, okay, I didn't give myself enough time. I'd go through it and look at all the things I could have done, could have added, and it just looks like, hey, perhaps if I just had gave myself more time, I would have been able to do it. But that's something I just got to learn. Look at the project and realize this is what I made. Whether it's good or not, I achieved some things I really did set out for, which was making the area look nice. And I did fail in some of the areas because I put so much time and effort into trying to make that thing look good. And that's something I need to realize, is balancing my time, balancing my effort more efficiently. At least that's something I'm thinking about in the future when I move on to do my future modules, because it's something I got to realize, to say I need to manage my time more effectively. But overall, I am somewhat proud of this and what I was able to get out of it in the long run. So yeah, this is going to be my post-mortem, at least for the time, just talking about everything I did well, everything I did wrong, things that I've learned, and how I overall feel and what I'll move on to. Because this isn't something I'm going to create my own framework using some of the assets, the VFX, some of the materials, some of the map design I used. I'm going to go on into my own spare time and just kind of make my own one with what if I budgeted my time correctly, what could I make and what did I accomplish here. There's so many little things that I love what I did here. From the material colours and changes I made, from the wall design, making them all look different and unique, from having the AI spawn different positions. These are all stuff I really like, with making different areas have different quality of AI. So for example, you're not going to see the data miners anywhere else than scurrying around the ship. Everywhere else they've got actual working people in. They're just little things that tag around. They're the equivalent of rats on a pirate ship. The little things that attach and rodents. I didn't need a health bay, so it's like something perhaps if I make it so an organic human ship, the one that's attacking them, could I make that I had that health bay there instead of the engineering bay and just move all the stuff from the engineering to the armory, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm proud of what I did overall, but yeah,